I am rigging this camera. Hey you guys, hello. Yes, I'm literally sitting in my bedroom, in my bed, and below me, as always, is Remy. She's laying under the covers. Because this is like a conversation that you just want to be comfortable for, right? This is not an office conversation. This isn't like an out in public conversation. This is a conversation where you get on the phone with a girlfriend and she's like, okay, I need you to tell me, what did you do? What happened? How did you save yourself? So you're like, let me get comfortable. So I'm comfortable. I want to go over this. Mama, my mom just hopped in. Mama, I saw you calling right before I hit live, so I will call you back as soon as I get off. See, look, I'm the world's worst daughter. I'm like, Mom. Hey guys, so this is going to be in reference to, if you guys saw my post last night, I was very real with you guys. I was very, oh gosh, uncomfortable with you guys, and I spoke a truth that I'd never spoken out loud before. And guys, this has sparked a huge conversation. This has sparked so many of you reaching out to me, so many of you going, I never knew you were like me. Literally, I can't tell you. I stayed up all night last night. I was back at it again today. I'm answering you guys, and maybe some of you can vouch for me if you're in here. But it was just like this light bulb moment that you guys were like, I never knew you struggled like me. I never knew you got me. I never knew someone else understood what I went through. I never knew, you know, that I wasn't alone. And so I want to talk to the question that I keep getting is, how did you save yourself? Megan, how did you pull yourself out of it? How did you turn the corner? How did you come to where you are today? Like, what did you do? And so I thought this is a perfect live because I want to touch and reach as many lives as possible. So you guys give this a share, especially if you have women in your life. If you have women in your life, which we all do, my gosh, friends, mothers, daughters, that have struggled with themselves, that have struggled with, really, and it's hard to say, it's so uncomfortable. Well, it's very uncomfortable. Look, I'm stuttering. It's very uncomfortable for me to say this, but it's what it is. If you know someone, or if you have ever struggled with self-abusive thoughts, that word or that verbiage is so strong and it's so uncomfortable to say. Self-abusive thoughts. Give me some likes or hearts if I'm not alone on this, because I am feeling so uncomfortable, you guys. This is not well-versed Megan. This is not I came with a script Megan. My dog wants in. Too bad, my other dog. This is not I took notes. This is I'm coming and I'm talking from the heart, and I want to share my story with you. So just for those of you that may not have seen the post that this was triggered by, I shared a picture of you guys, to you guys, of me last night. Lord, can you tell I'm so nervous? And it was literally me at my thinnest, and when I say thinnest, I was 96, 97 pounds, full-grown woman, 96, 97 pounds. I was wearing like a little girl's size 13, 14 pants. I was eating just enough to fuel my body through 3 workouts a day, and 1 calorie more than that, and I was spiraling down. You know, so I showed you that side, that picture, and then I showed you the other extreme. And on that extreme, when I stopped counting, I was 65 pounds overweight, and miserable in a shell, but both of them stemmed from my own self-abusive thoughts and behaviors. And I was starving. I was starving in both pictures, emotionally, physically, to myself. And I just want to share that with you guys. So where it really all began with me, for me, I don't know. Where it all began was probably, I mean, I'm not even going to give it roots. We all know. It probably began, like, when I was real little. It probably began with, you know, things that we grew up with. You know, we all can share a similar story. Maybe you're a child of divorce. Maybe you're a child of a single parent home. Maybe maybe you grew up in, I don't know, maybe you grew up in orphanages, or maybe you had a parent who, you know, was a substance abuse, or maybe, you know, there's so many stories, and all of these can be pieces of ours or all of ours. It doesn't matter, but you grow up looking for acceptance. I think we can all admit that. If you've ever just looked for acceptance, drop me a 1. Anywhere in your life, as a woman especially, is there that you were just so desperate to be accepted? You know, it goes back to school. You want to be accepted into groups. You want to be accepted into different social clubs. You want to be accepted as a person. You want to be accepted by that guy that thinks you're pretty. You want to be accepted, you know, it goes into the jobs, and you want to be accepted into the promotion, and you want to be accepted into all of these things, and it transforms into our kids. I want my kids to be accepted into everything. I want them to be wanted in everything. We just strive for this acceptance. And something happened with me and clicked with me after I had my second kiddo, my little man. And he was about 2, and I decided, let me just kind of start focusing on working out some. I had some, some time on my hands. He was getting to where he could go into the daycare, and it gave him something to do. So I was like, let me, do something with me and lose a few pounds. And very quickly, that became a problem for me. I know it's weird, but it became a problem for me. Why? Not because of anything of the working out or all, but here's what happened. As I started to lose a few pounds, as I started to change my body, I started getting compliments. But in my mind, and there were great compliments, there were amazing compliments. You're looking so healthy, you're looking so good, and those fueled my fire. I got addicted to those compliments. I'm like, oh my gosh, they like me. Oh my gosh, they accept me. Oh my gosh, I'm fitting in better. Oh my gosh, yeah, you know what I mean? It fueled my fire. So I thought, well, if they like me a little bit now and are noticing me a little bit more now, gosh, if I lose more weight, what would that do? And so I lost more weight, and the compliments kept coming. Oh, I would kill for your body. You're so lucky. You get to wear all the cutest clothes. I'm talking about, oh, you're so teeny tiny. It must suck to be you. And still my internal tape was going, they like you. They're accepting you. Like you're part of the tribe. Like they're talking, yo. And I was like fangirling because somebody wanted to invest in me and talk to me, even though it was such a silly thing. And it became this obsession for me. It became a physical obsession, but honestly, it manifested because of the emotional obsession that I had. Inside of myself, I didn't feel powerful. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel wanted. I didn't feel accepted. I didn't feel part of anything, right? And so when someone was giving me that little bitty bit, even though it was just in correlation to changing my body, I became addicted to that acceptance. I became addicted to acceptance. Have y'all ever felt that way? You're like, it's like a dog when you finally scratch its back when you get home from work, and it's just like, oh, there was never enough, because it's just like, oh, you love me. And I very much spiraled down from there. I very much did, and my world became even more so, who else can I get to like me? Because I didn't like myself. And I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know this at the time at all. Like, hindsight's 20/20. All of this I'm saying now, I didn't realize what's going on, but I didn't like myself so desperately. Having other people like me, even if it was just my shell of my body, I thought was filling my cup. I thought my worth was in other people, right? So that went on for a while until my body honestly couldn't take it anymore. I was literally, when I tell you guys, I was eating enough to work out 3 times a day. I was eating enough to work out 3 times a day, although I would save a few extra calories for my weekend partying escape. Still goes back to the same thing. I still wasn't loving who I was, and so if I could escape in any way, woohoo, life's great, it's wonderful, it's just a weekend, it's harmless. Maybe you can relate. All of a sudden, to me, it felt like my body couldn't keep up anymore. Just medical things started showing up. I was having headaches. Like, my body literally was telling me I can't do this anymore. My mind started breaking down, and my body started breaking down, and I couldn't keep up with the workouts. And as I began to see 1 pound come back, and 3 pounds come back, and then 5 pounds come back, my brain very much told me all of that acceptance is going away. With every pound you gain, all of those friends you made at the gym, all of those compliments that are your self-worth, all of those muscles on your body that are your power, they're going away with every pound. And in normal Megan fashion, I overreacted, and I just said, okay, then I quit. Okay, then I quit. I quit everything. I quit. I just quit. So my life's going to be horrible, and so I quit working out, quit everything. And again, in a self-healing manner, I decided, well, I'm gonna need to protect myself again, because now nobody's really gonna like me again. And I started protecting myself with layers this time. So where before I was filling myself and protecting myself with what other people thought of me because my body was great, on the reverse, as I started going downhill and seeing a few pounds, I just gave up and said, okay, instead of managing this, let me just give up, and I'm going to protect myself with extra pounds. A lot of extra pounds. A lot of extra pounds. And again, this is 2020, hindsight's 2020. When I was going through it, did I really realize what I was doing? Not until it was too late. Those pounds did what I wanted them to do. They kept people away, right? People started unplugging. They became this physical barrier for me. I very much unplugged from my friends and family. I very much put an arm's distance. I very much became that girl who was married to her couch. I unplugged. I unplugged from my family. I unplugged from my kids. I was depressed and I had anxiety. And it was a constant struggle every day. It was, let me wake up, let me make it through the day. Okay, let me just make it through the day. Little by little, God help me if I have to go out and do anything, because I had recluded or reclused or pulled myself off so much that I literally became extremely anxious about going out in public. I hated how I looked. I hated how people interacted with me, even though most of that was in my head. I hated the isolation. I just, and you know, the longer you don't do something, the more scared of it you are. So, you know, when I'd have to go do stuff for the kiddos or go to football games or go to practices for my daughter's dance or whatever, it was like, it took me all day to work up to it. And if I could get out of it, I would. If I could make up an excuse, I would. My daughter's sisters, dogs, aunts, nieces, kittens, rabbit died. I can't go today. Have y'all ever done that? Like, really, seriously, that was me. And so it was a very dark time, and I tell you that just to bring you up, and a lot of you are asking me, Megan, that's where I am now. Megan, I noticed myself in your story, and it turned on a light for me. Megan, you know, I've been struggling there for years. How did you come out of it? And I see some of you, I won't call you out, I see a lot of you, and you know, we've had this conversation. You said, Megan, how did you come out of it? How did you change that? What did you do? And I want to say it was a light bulb moment, but it wasn't. I literally it came to a point to where I realized I am not living. Like, I'm literally not living. And I had to start making changes at this point. It wasn't for myself, because I didn't have the strength for myself. I started making changes for my children and for my husband, because I realized I was unplugged from my kids. You know what I mean? They didn't have the mom that they needed. And the guilt ate me up. So it wasn't even for me that I started making a change, but I realized that I had to. I remember one night sitting on my daughter's, I was so uncomfortable. This is so uncomfortable. Sitting on my daughter's bed with her, after having a breakdown, you know, just like being upset, and her telling me, Mom, like, she's like, Mom, you've got to do something. Like, what do you know, you've got to do something. And that just made me break down more, and I just, you know, I unloaded. I just said, I don't feel myself anymore. I don't remember exactly what I said. And she's like, tomorrow I'm taking you, and you're gonna get a haircut, and you're gonna buy a new shirt. You know, my daughter was lifting me up. And so you say, what shook me out of it? That shook me out of it. When your daughter is having to lift you up and tell you that you know, we're going to go get a haircut and get you a pretty shirt. We're going to change your mindset. If you want to know who my very first self-development was, it was my daughter. That'll shake you awake. Once I woke up, there was a lot of work to do. So what you have to do if you're in that self-abusive talk, if you're protecting yourself with pounds of weight, and let me preface that I think every body size is beautiful. I have been extremely unhealthy underweight. I have been extremely unhealthy overweight. I was beautiful in every single phase. It was my dark mind that told me I wasn't. But if you're trapped somewhere that you feel, you know, that you need changes, you have to immerse yourself in gratitude. You have to immerse yourself in gratitude. What did I do? I would wake up every morning and say, literally, this is where my walk with God really started. It wasn't when I was a kid in school, in church. It wasn't, you know, going through Bible study. I didn't know him in any of those instances. There were things that I was told to do. Where I, honest to God, met God was every morning in my mirror, where I literally had to pray, God, get me through this day 5 minutes at a time. 5 minutes by 5 minutes by 5 minutes. And I realized that I had to work on my mind. I had to work on my mind, and that is where my whole gratitude shift began. That is where my whole mindset began, and funnily enough, maybe not funnily enough, and actually now it's not funny. Now I can truly see this was my path and my mission. What this coincided with for myself is beginning my journey in network marketing. I began my journey in network marketing at my most broken, insecure, unknowledgeable self. but I feel like I know now. Being on this with you and having this journey, that was by no accident. That was by no accident. It led me to self-development. It led me to amazing people to plug into. It led me into a sense of community and something bigger than myself. It led me into my personal power because I began to see in small doses and ounces what I was capable of. Small successes are everything. Small successes are absolutely crucial. Crucial. So my advice to you, if you are struggling with this, is here's what you do. You take it a second at a time, and the first thing that you understand and you realize is this is a problem. This is abuse. And just as much as I would get riled up over abuse from someone to someone, you know, person to a person and all of that, how it's a big thing, self-abuse is just as horrible and darkening, and it affects you just as much. This is abuse, and this will stop. You are worth more than that. You are absolutely amazing, and your mind right now is a liar. Okay, your mind is a liar, and you have to redirect it, and it's going to take time. It's going to take time. Get into personal development. I don't care if you're in network marketing or not. Get into personal development. Pick up Martha Beck. Y'all have heard me. I can't say her praises enough. Pick up Martha Beck. I didn't have Martha Beck at that time. I found her later in my journey. Had I had her at that time, Lord, she'd be even more my spirit animal. Go get anything Martha Beck. Finding your own North Star is a great place to start. And start on a personal development journey. And a lot of you tell me I don't have time, or, you know, I'm not a big reader, or this or the other. You can afford 10 minutes a day to change your mindset. Absolutely. And not only that, you've got to rewire what you're looking for. So all of these things, that's why I say it's no accident. All of these things that I teach my team and I teach in coaching came from the walk I went through. So ironically, a lot of you guys tell me, Megan, I could never do what you do. Megan, I admire you so much. You're so strong. Megan, I would love to, you know, work with you or whatever, but you know, we're not the same person. We are the same person. And the things that I teach to my coaching and to my team are the things that I walk through. Absolutely. Gratitude. You find 5 things every single day. That's where I began in my darkest. I teach this now as a coach, and I had to reconnect. Megan, where did that even come from? Megan, why are you so adamant about it? Because I had to live it. I had to live it at my darkest and just look for 5 things every day. Please just let me find 5 things every day. There's got to be 5 things in my life every day. And sometimes those 5 things were, I've got a bed. I've got 2 beautiful children. I am cooking dinner for my parents. Like, they were very, very basic. It didn't matter. It began my mind shift to look for the positive. When I was looking for the positive, it turned away the negative, right? So I definitely had to start there, into personal development, and plug into something bigger than yourself. You've got to plug into something bigger than yourself. You absolutely have to. And again, this industry for me has been a soul healer. It absolutely has. I started it at my most broken. And now I'm helping thousands of women do the same. It was no accident. Your struggle is no accident. Your darkness, your path, everything that you hate about yourself, everything that you want to change about yourself, everything that you think makes you subpar is actually part of your light. It's actually part of your story. It's actually part of a journey that is leading you somewhere amazing. You just have to look over the mountain. And it won't happen overnight. It won't happen next week. It won't happen next month. It's a process. It's a process of healing. But funnily enough, when you finally begin to love yourself, like you actually should have all this time, all those things that you feel like would never change begin to move around you. All of those things, you're like, I've struggled for years with my weight. I've struggled for years in my business. I've struggled for years in my marriage. I've struggled for years. All of a sudden, when you begin to love yourself, those things begin to move. Like they were just waiting on you. They were like just waiting on your light bulb to go off. That's all that it was. That's all that it was. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I think it's very important, especially for women. You see me today, who I am, because of the struggles. So if you're struggling and you're inspired by me, I want you to take that story and say, wait a minute, time out, time out. Megan had these struggles. Megan was at the lowest of lows. Megan, walked the dark path. Megan wanted to give up. Megan was self-abusive. Megan had zero power, zero confidence, zero life in her. And look where she is. If she can do it, I can do it. If she can do it, I can absolutely do it. She is living proof. I want you to use me to fuel your fire. I'm telling you, your mind cannot be any darker than mine was. I'm telling you, we're probably soul sisters, okay? So, yes, I came to you from my bedroom. This is not an office chat, but I just wanted to get really real and speak to that. How do you fix it? You make a decision. You make a decision every day, and it will be every day. It will be a challenge every day. But guess what? I'm telling you, and you won't believe me until you're down the path, you're making a decision already every day. You're already making a decision every day. If you're struggling and if you're in the darkness and you're being self-abusive, you are making that decision. I understand it's become a habit. Been there, done that. I understand it's gone on autopilot. I understand you don't even think about it anymore because it's running in the background, but you're still making that decision and you're still taking action every day. All you have to do is use that same exact energy to shift and rewire. It will not take any additional energy. And here's the beautiful thing that I want you to take away. Fear, self-doubt, and negativity are all energies that have very little power. What does that mean? They're all energies within you that actually don't have a long lifespan. They actually are energies within you that that downhill, that defuel, whatever, that burn themselves out very quickly, but you are renewing them every day. Your stronger powers that actually have longevity and energy, that actually are self-sustainable, that actually grow instead of fade, are positivity, gratitude, right? Passion, inspiration, love. All of those actually go further, go longer, and are self-sustaining. So if you can just shift in little amounts the direction that you're putting that energy, you'll see results. I promise you. I promise you, I'm living proof. I promise you, and I hope that you took something from this, or if not, if you give it a share, that someone else out there can take something from this. This is not your normal Megan rant, but I think it needs to be more often because it's harder for us to share our vulnerabilities and our struggles. However, that's how we connect as human beings, and that's what makes us real, and that's what this journey, honest to God, is all about. Whose path can you light? And I hope I lit a few paths today. I'm gonna get out of here, you guys. Drop me, let me know. Drop me some love. Did this speak to you? Drop me your favorite emotion, emotion. Let me know. Did this do some good in the world? Because I feel like it probably did. Bye, guys.